Today we are in Chioggia, which is one of the ports used for the city of Venice, and we are going to the historic canaled city of Venice. Our at a glance St. Mark's Square excursion is offered by cruise ships in Venice and is Vikings included excursion in Venice. This excursion is tailored for those who only have a short time in Venice. I'm going to tell you what this excursion entails, including where we went, what we did, and how much walking and standing was involved. So by watching this video to the end, I will show you what you see and the things to look out for. Venice is about an hour's ferry ride from Chioggia through the calm, protected waters of the Venetian lagoon. The ferry follows the same route to and from Venice, so views that are missed going one way can be seen on the return trip. I would recommend the left or port side of the ferry for the trip because this side offers the most stunning views of Venice as the ferry nears its destination. This side then, on the return trip, offers views of the colourful houses on the 12-kilometre long Lido di Venice and the southern island of Palestrina, which protect the southern Venetian lagoon from the Adriatic and support a large native protectorate for a wide species of birds. We met our tour guide on arrival in Venice and walked 50 metres along the river from the ferry to the church of the Piazza, St. Mary of the Visitation. This broad waterfront avenue is one of the world's greatest promenades. The promenade is named after the Slavic merchants and the people from Dalmatia who originally settled in this part of the city in medieval times. Construction of the current church of the Piazza started in 1745, adjacent to the site of an earlier church. Antonio Vivaldi, the famous composer and musician, lived and performed here. The large relief above the entrance represents Charity and was added in 1800. From the church, we headed inland through the narrow alleys to Canpanièl della Fraterna, which in the 1500s was a centre for providing charity for the poor and needy. The Fraterna Grande was founded here in 1535 to dispense the charity and to assist in releasing debtors from prison on Christmas and Easter. There is a classical wellhead with a fountain in the square. From here we crossed the Rio de Greci, the River of the Greeks, with views to the leaning bell tower of the Church of San Giorgio de Greci. San Giorgio de Greci was built as an Orthodox church of the Greek community who settled in Venice after the conquest of Constantinople by the Turks in 1453. The bell tower was added in 1590. The lean is due to the collapse of its foundations during construction. We then followed the canals around to Campo San Zaccaria and its 15th century church. This church is dedicated to Saint Zachariah, the father of John the Baptist. The remains of Saint Zachariah were donated to Venice by the Byzantine Emperor, and these are under the altar. This is the third church built on this site. Pope Benedict III took refuge in the original church in 855 to escape anti-Pope violence. From Campo San Zaccaria, we headed back to the river. The inland walk totalled about 300 metres. We then followed the river another 100 metres to the Palazzo Ducale. Along the way we passed the Bridge of Sighs, which was built in 1614 to link the Doge's palace to the structure intended to house the new prisons. The name for the bridge came from the sighs of prisoners who, passing from the courtroom to the cells, took a last look at freedom through the small windows. Legend says that if a couple kisses while passing underneath the bridge at sunset in a gondola, they will enjoy eternal love. Palazzo Ducale was built in the 1300s and is also known as the Doge's Palace because it was the residence of the Doge of Venice, who was the supreme authority of the former Republic of Venice. At the Palazzo Ducale, we went around the corner to St. Mark's Square. This is built on a former river which was filled and paved in the 1400s. We went past San Marco Bell Tower. At 99 metres or 320 feet high, this is the tallest structure in Venice. The current bell tower was built in 1912 to replace the one that collapsed in 1902. The procuracies, which housed the magistrates in charge of the church's assets, were built in stages between 1500 and 1650. Next to Palazzo Ducale is St. Mark's Basilica. Construction of the Basilica began in 1063 at the same time as the cathedral in Piazza, and there was significant rivalry between them as to which would be the most spectacular. The remains of St. Mark are laid in the foundations of the Basilica. This marked the end of our guided tour, and we were free to continue exploring Venice independently before walking the 300 metres back to the wharf where we had arrived to catch the ferry back to our ship. Including the walk back to the ferry from where our tour ended, we would have walked about 850 metres or half a mile around Venice. At this point, can I ask two things of you? If you have any extra information that will help others, please add a comment. And if you find this video helpful in any way, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and we'll give you the lowdown on other places that you might be interested in exploring. Because the ferries run all through the day, there is plenty of time to explore Venice further, including checking out the view from the iconic Rialto Bridge. Entrance to St. Mark's Basilica is free, but the line can be very long. The queue can be avoided by doing an additional guided tour, which costs about €25. Tickets for the Doge's Palace vary from €16 up to €30, depending upon what you want to see. A tour of the Doge's Palace takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes. The tour also includes the Bridge of Sighs, where you can look out the window to see what the prisoners crossing the bridge saw. It costs about €15 to tour St. Mark's Bell Tower, also known as the Canpanièl. Fortunately, you can use an elevator instead of the steps to reach the top, which can be quite noisy when the bells are rung at various times throughout the day. The ferry followed the same route past Lido de Venice and Palestrina back to the ship. So that is our at a glance St. Mark's Square excursion. It only covered part of the city, but showed a fascinating insight into the city known as the Floating City and the Queen of the Adriatic. If you want to see more of what Venice has to offer, check out our photographic tour of Venice video. There is a link to this below. If you will be disembarking from a cruise ship in Venice, the ships no longer dock close to the city. This means you will have to transfer to Venice. From Chioggia, we had a 1-hour bus ride from the ship to the old passenger ship terminal near the city. To get to Venice from here, we had to negotiate our way through the car park and back out the main entrance to Venice's People Mover. My ticket to board the People Mover cost less than €2, which I got from a vending machine. The end of the line was the first stop after we boarded. From here we exited to the Piazza di Roma. The Piazza has a dock where the water taxis, or water buses, which are known as vaporettos, can take you to your final destination. Alternatively, the Venice train station is just across the bridge over the canal. Porters will help you carry bags over the bridge, but charge up to €20 per bag. Well, that is our time in Venice. It's a beautiful place, but unless you are on a gondola or boat, it requires a lot of walking to see it all.